Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a different type of video. Pretty much we're going to be talking about possible changes like with laws and states adding laws or counties adding laws on e-bikes. I didn't look up the laws on the e-bikes right now. From what I know, I think you have to have pedals on bikes that are, bikes that they're class 1 and 3, I believe. Class 2 bikes don't. I don't know what the rules are for all that stuff. But one thing is, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not putting those ugly ass pedal things that they sell for this Talaria. They just look so ugly and it just looks stupid on there. So I'm not going to do it. My Rev 1 has pedals. That's fine. I feel that looks more like an e-bike. This looks more like a dirt bike, the Talaria. Same with the Pass Select. That looks like a straight mountain bike, so don't care about that. But I'm not gonna. This Talaria is beautiful. Even the Surrons are great looking bikes. And the last thing I would do is put pedals on the poor thing. That's terrible. So one thing I wanted to talk about was, a lot of people are buying these bikes. People have had Surrons. But they're getting more popular. There's more people buying Surrons, and there's a lot of people buying Talarias since they came out. And I think this is going to make them more visible, I think, to the public, people that hate on these kind of bikes. I'm going to tell you right now, because I know a lot of people in law enforcement. In California, at least in Southern California, they don't give a crap about these things. All they care about is as long as you're on the road, like on the bike lane, they could care less. They don't care. I'm going to say 95% of cops don't care about these things as long as you're not on the sidewalk. If you're on the sidewalk and you're going really slow, I also don't think they care. I've talked to a lot of guys that I know, and they don't care. Bike trails, same thing. Now, if you're on a sidewalk and you're doing wheelies and kind of endangering other people, yeah, they're gonna say something, because first of all, people are gonna call. You got Karens out there. They're gonna call law enforcement. A lot of those people call 911, which is ridiculous. And those people are gonna report you, and then the cops are gonna come out and they're gonna be pissed because they have to come out and talk to you. And the last thing they want to do is talk to someone on their e-bike. They could give a crap about that. They got better things to deal with than people on e-bikes. So that's something that everyone that rides an e-bike is going to have to. You gotta. What I'm trying to say is you gotta kind of behave when you're out in public around a lot of people. Now, if there's no one around, so be it. Do whatever as long as you're being safe. There's a lot of people doing wheelies on these things. And it's unfortunate because I like to have fun too. And when you, I don't know what it is about a bike. When you get it up on one wheel, there's people that will just hate on you. They think you're being dangerous and all that kind of stuff. In other countries, you do a wheelie and you crash, people could care less. You break your neck, it's your fault. Here, I'm sure people would care less as well. But at the same time, there's people that'll hate on you and they're going to call the cops. There's a guy riding recklessly. And I understand, if you crash into a pedestrian or another person on a bike or car, you could get hurt, and the other people will get hurt as well, of course. So what I'm trying to put out there is, for you guys that have these kinds of bikes, you got to kind of, when you're out in public, when there's a lot of people, you just gotta be careful. Don't do stupid stuff, and because I already know what's going to happen with these bikes. And I'm sure you guys do too, the audience, is there's going to be a lot of these bikes on the road, a lot more, like way more than there is now. Like there's probably thousands of these things going out. And, not only law enforcement, but, city officials they're going to start opening their eyes because, the public's going to start saying stuff. And the next thing you know, they're going to start putting in, there's going to be vehicle codes on these things, and do not be surprised if these things need to be registered. I think in some states they already have to be registered. You have to get registration on these things. In California, you do not. At least not in Southern California. But from what I know, in California as a whole, you do not have to register these things. Down here, I'm in San Diego, so I do see quite a few of these around. I want to go on group rides too. People on group rides, as some of you know already, people on group rides, they go crazy sometimes. Everybody starts doing wheelies and all that stuff. They have these big takeovers where they take up the whole road. Stuff like that is gonna cause issues later. That's not just on the Talaria and the Surrons. That's with all e-bikes. But the Talaria and the Surrons are the ones that go fast, and people make these really fast. So that's the thing. And then also this thing looking like a dirt bike. That doesn't help either. Because I've watched so many videos on YouTube now where there's guys, not even in California, but in other states, like these states that are like Texas and Oklahoma and stuff like that. People are riding these things and get pulled over by the cops, and once they tell them they're electric, in some of those videos they say, "Oh, it's electric," then all of a sudden they don't care. But again, what started the flame was someone called on someone doing wheelies on one of these bikes, and so law enforcement found the person and they said, "Hey man, like, what are you doing?" I'm just giving an example on a video that I watched, and he's all, "Oh, this is electric." He's like, "You got a license for that or whatever?" And the guy's, "Oh, this is electric." And you could see the face on the cop going, "Oh, really? That's electric? Wow." He was blown away. He was blown away because he thought it was a gas, vehicle, but it wasn't. It was electric. So he kind of looked at it, and another cop came, and he's like, "Well, yeah, that's electric." He's like, "Oh, okay." And then the other cop just left, like he didn't care. He's like, "Oh, all right, bye." And the other cop was still stunned that the bike was electric and that it wasn't gas. And he didn't care after that. He just let the guy go. He just told him, "Hey man, don't just be careful. Don't be doing wheelies and stuff everywhere." And so, going back to doing wheelies and stuff like that, what I think is going to happen is, as more people get hurt on these things, especially if they die on these things and they're causing other people to die on these things, what I mean is, hitting pedestrians and killing pedestrians, stuff like that, things are going to get worse. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will agree with me on this, where there's going to be more laws put in place for these things, and I almost have a feeling like they would outlaw these, like the Surrons and the Talarias. They would probably outlaw these, and I know they're sold for off-road only, but they would completely outlaw them where they don't ever want to see them on the road. They could only be used in the mountains and deserts and stuff like that. Unfortunately, because this is a super cool vehicle to ride on the street. Or who knows? Maybe you could register them and ride them to work like some people do in other states. So, that's not a bad thing. Unfortunately, in the end, I'm sure you guys will agree, it's a big money grab. You got to register it. Now you got to pay, registration. Then you got to put insurance. You got to be insured, so you got to get insurance on it and things like that. It wouldn't cost a lot, but that also depends where you live. In California, everything costs expensive. Registration here is out of this world, and so is insurance on a vehicle here. But that's just some things I wanted to touch up on. So go into the comments and pretty much put in how you guys feel about this. What do you think is going to happen? You think it's going to get worse, which I'm pretty sure most of you will say yes, or do you think it's just going to be the same and no one's going to say anything, and we're going to keep all going on our merry way, and everyone's going to do wheelies and drive these things 60 miles an hour or whatever, and no one's going to say anything? For me, you already know what I think, but go in the comments and put what you guys think. What's going to happen later? Do you think these things will have to be registered? Some of you may already have to register these in your state. I'd like to know which states. I haven't done the research on it, but go ahead and go in the comments and put that as well. But tell me how you feel about all these. Let me know, what kind of incidents that you've heard about happen in your town where you're from. And so I just wanted to talk more about this. And, this isn't about the laws, obviously. This is more about, you know, how I feel that we're going with e-bikes, and especially these like Surrons and the Talarias. I'm sure there's going to be more coming out. You know, other types of these dirt bike type e-rides coming out. You know, I mean, there's already e-motorcycles out. As we know, Super 73 just came out with one, I believe. I don't know if it's been released for sale yet. I don't think it has, but you know, that's a whole different thing. That's something you'd have to register. Yeah, so just go in the comments, put down how you feel about this, and where you think you know, e-rides are going to go, and what's going to happen in the future, maybe in your town. You know, there's some other places are stricter than others. To me, it almost feels like the laws are stricter in towns where there's less people, as opposed to like New York or, you know, California and some of these other big states that have, you know, big cities, is what I really want to say. So tell me what you think is going to happen in the future. And so this video will probably come out after the unboxing and the assembly video. That's a pretty long video, by the way. I think that video is an hour long. So that's more of a detailed video on how to put the bike together. And the next video I'll probably come out with is either going to be a ride review. It's probably going to be a ride review because I don't want to put the Pro Taper bars and the stem and all that stuff on yet. So the next video will be a ride review. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, comment, and I'll see you guys on the next one.